If someone were to open our Excel file today, would it be a model or a mess? So we're going to start with our first sheet here, and this is a mess. Now, at first glance, we may look at it and say, well, it just looks like a regular worksheet to me and it looks fine. But there are some issues with this worksheet. One of them being we have a mixture of data that we're entering manually with data that's being calculated, and they're mixed together. And that's not really good, because if someone comes in and they're not used to data like this, they could overwrite a formula and then our data won't be accurate. And if someone's coming in to audit this, they're going to have to figure out what's going on before they can actually audit our data. The next issue we have is inconsistent formulas and manual entries. If we look in our revenue column, on row 2, it is a calculated field. If we go down on row 7, it's manually entered. Now let's go back to row 2. We have equals B2 times D2. If we go down to row 3, it's reversed and it's D3 times B3. Now while this is accurate, it is inconsistent and it makes it harder to work with, harder to audit, and actually introduces the chance of there being errors in our data. So now let's look at our profit, and we have some calculated fields, which is correct. We're taking the price per unit minus the cost, and that is our profit. And that works pretty well. But if we go down to row 7, then that's been removed, and this is all manual entries. Now in row 6, we have something different going on. Instead of doing our D6, which is our price per case minus our cost, we have hard-coded that at $11.25. Well, for one thing, it's $12.60, so it's already an issue. But if this were to change, then this doesn't change. So again, we can have an issue with our data not being accurate, and then our profit and loss statements and revenue all being completely wrong. The next issue is this is just a range of data. So we have our columns and our rows. It's not a table, to where it's not going to scale at all, to where if we need to enter another row, we're going to have to put everything in, carry our formulas down, and do all of that manually. And there's more of a chance of something getting missed because we don't have a table. So as far as this bad model goes, it's not whether or not it does calculate, it doesn't calculate, or anything like that. It is the fact that we cannot trust this data because there's so much inconsistency and there's no structure. So let's rebuild this into a real model. Now, a model is where we provide the inputs and Excel calculates the results. Now, we use this for revenue, profit, forecasting, inventory, or any other data that drives business decisions. So as we're building this model, just keep in mind we're looking for accuracy, consistency, and clarity. And one of the most powerful tools we have for that is putting our data into a table. So do Control T and it will select our range for us. Make sure that we put my table has headers and tell it OK. And what we want to do, because we're going to be calculating some fields, is we're going to name our table. And I'm going to name this one TBL fruit. So the first field that we want to calculate is our revenue. And we're going to use the formula at units sold times at price per case. Whenever you see an at within a formula or a function in Excel, that just means the current row. And if you notice, units sold has an outline around it. Price per case has an outline around it, and then revenue has one around it as well. And that is just showing us that we're using units sold and price per case to calculate our revenue, which is what we want. So go ahead and hit enter. And if you notice, it calculated all of them for us and carried it down. Now this lightning bolt here is our autocorrect options. And that's basically telling us, hey, I seen that you did a formula, I carried it down for you. Do you want me to do anything different? Now, this is going to annoy us because it's going to stay here, but for this exercise, I'm not going to go in and turn it off. We're just going to leave it alone and ignore it as best as we can. Now, we want to calculate our profit, and we're going to use the formula at price per case minus at cost per case times at units sold. And again, our price per case cost per case, and units sold all have the outline around them. And that's just telling us that's what we're using for our profit. If we go ahead and hit enter, it carries all of that down and it shows us our profit. So now we have our revenue and our profit all with consistent, accurate formulas. Now we want to calculate our total revenue and our total profit. So I'm going to create a row for each of those. So to calculate our revenue, we are going to use the formula equals sum table fruit revenue. Now, if you remember, this is what we named our table. And revenue is our column header. So it's basically saying, look at the table, find the revenue column, and add everything that's in there together for our total revenue field. Go ahead and hit enter. And this is what it produces. To calculate our profits, we're going to use the formula equals sum table fruit profit, and it basically works the same way as revenue. It's looking for the profit column within this table and is adding them all together, and we can go ahead and hit enter. And with the addition of total revenue and total profit, we have separated our output fields from what we've input, so it's a lot easier to read. And with us using column names within a table versus cell addresses like A1, A2, B2, or whatever, it makes it a lot easier to maintain. We have our consistency and it's a lot more accurate because the math didn't change. The structure did. Now let's add another row of data. Everything updated accordingly, and it pushed our total revenue and total profit down. So I've included this audit checklist, and this is what I use if I've received a workbook from someone, or even if I'm creating a new workbook so I don't create a mess for somebody else. And it has things to look for, like no hard-coded numbers inside of formulas, clear and descriptive headers, no volatile functions or formulas, and then I have a status to where I can say pass, fails, or it needs review, and then any notes that I need to make. And I've included this in the description to where you can go and download the workbook with the audit checklist inside of it. Now, before someone says Power Query, Power Query, Power Query, I love Power Query and it is a wonderful tool. However, what I'm addressing here is not the importing and transformation of data. I am addressing the structure of the workbook because that's just as important, and Power Query won't work as well if your workbook is already a mess. Be sure to follow along for more Microsoft Excel and Microsoft 365 tutorials.